Hello, I'm Thomas Sandberg. I'm an animal naturopath and I believe in prevention and healing of dogs using natural modalities. I'm also the founder of the world's longest and probably also the biggest raw feeding study. It's an observational study. I have about 6,000 dogs in there participating in this study that reports back to me, and they're all raw fed. So these are dogs, some of the dogs that participate in this study that have made some improvement, some very drastic improvements just by switching a diet, which is my number one step for addressing any type of illness or health issue, is to change the diet first. Okay, so let's go through a couple of them here. Pick that little cutie here. So this is a pug. He's from Minnesota. Started on a raw food diet, 4 years old. Name is Ruby. He's a participant in a long living pets raw feeding study. So this is what the owner says right here. So let me just go through that. So Ruby eats a variety of muscle meat, fat, connective tissue. The ratio of feeding 80% meat, 10% bone, and then 5% organ meat. And they do 10% actually, because liver is 5% and other organ meats are 5%. So that's very, very common. So we call that 80-10-10. But that's just a start. Some dogs have different ratios, but that's a good start. And she writes, I don't even know if it's she or he, but the owner writes further here, I feed between 2 and 2.5% of her body weight. I would add ideal body weight. So when you know the ideal weight is, then shoot for around 2 to 2.5%. So usually in that range, and it's a good starting point too. So she writes here, first I went to a frozen raw patty that rotted her teeth and she had to have 2 removed. It took about 3 months to get her digestive system settled, and I started seeing great results in her coat and no itching soon after that. It's been 5 years now that they have been on this raw food diet, and the only time she has been to do it was for a reaction to a mandatory rabies shot, and that is a very common thing too. I see this over and over again, that dogs get rabies shots and they have reactions and side effects to that, and which is so sad, because I'm a believer that one shot lasts a lifetime. But we gotten into this horrible habit of doing this every year or every 3 years. And I think this is one of the major reasons that dogs struggle with so many health issues today, one being cancer. That's also things I study or document in my study, the rate of cancer and other diseases. Back to this. She has good energy for a pug and loves to play with dogs, a lot younger than her. And then I usually add comments to these things people submit about their dogs. So in this, what did I write here? Nature at work. Feed what the animals were designed for, and all allergies, symptoms of imbalance will disappear one by one. And I'm saying that so in such a firm way because this is what I see over and over and over again. She's among 400 on this Instagram account, and I picked the ones that just basically changing the diet also improve their health. And I have many more, probably 1,000 more. But this is what I had time to put on here for now. So, okay, so the symptoms disappear one by one now? No need to make it complicated by targeting each symptom, which with different drugs or medication, because that is not the way it works. That just masking symptoms never results in a complete healing. You gotta go to the source of the problem, and that is not enough nutrients, or not enough good nutrients, if you're not feeding a raw food diet. So by changing the diet, then you address the cause of all these issues, allergies, and almost like a miracle. You just in front of your eyes, these dogs are getting better and better week by week, and within a couple of weeks you see a big difference. Within a month or two you see a really big difference, and then within 6 months most of these symptoms and allergies disappear. So right here, sadly, that is what most pets are exposed to. With the drugs and medication, and this can have devastating consequences. Because most pet owners, when they have a pet, they start itching, take it to the vet. The vet would then most likely give some steroids or in some cases antibiotics if this itching is really severe. And then you get into this situation where it looks like it's helping because it masks the symptoms. So it does help in the beginning, but it doesn't help with the root cause. So you're masking the symptoms, and it usually comes back. And then go back to the vet, and then they will try something else, maybe a different brand of steroids or antibiotics. Maybe change the food, another form of kibble food. So they're switching around, and it might help for a little bit, or give the impression of helping, and then suddenly you get worse again, and you in this loop or circle of where you imagine an improvement, but then it gets worse. So you think what you're doing is right, you just haven't found the right drug. So go back to the vet and you try another one. And the main thing I see from this approach, it just gets worse and worse and worse, and eventually absolutely nothing helps, and they get side effects of the medication too. So you start seeing other problems, organ issues, infections, and the path is very scary, because it usually ends up at one point after a few years of this strategy with some really severe illness like cancer. Could be one. There could be kidney infections, liver infections, all kinds of serious organ issues, and the organs start not functioning properly, and then that just leads, it's a down spiral that goes fairly quickly, and in those cases, sadly, most of them end up with cancer of some sort. So if you can avoid that path, and then when you see itching, you see allergies, things like that, switch the diet if you're on a kibble diet, and wait. Even try it, then you're not going to kill the dog at all. This is like the biggest myth out there, that raw food going to make your dog sick because it's already sick. No. What the body needs is nutrients from the food they are designed to take nutrients from. This little guy here has almost identical digestive system as a wolf has. Yes, it's crazy, it doesn't look close to a wolf or nothing, but inside, the way they process the food, digest the food, take nutrients from the food, and pass it through the whole digestive system is almost identical to a wolf. So this guy is a carnivore. And many dispute that now. No, they evolved, they've been around humans for so long. They haven't been around humans more than a few thousand years. That's not enough to change. In nature need much longer time than that. So these are, and the proof for me is that every time we do this, and the owner agreed to changing the diet and try a raw food, I said try it at least for maybe a month, 2-3 weeks, because you see results within actually days, because the poop changes and get tiny. compared to what it would be on a kibble diet. And that's an improvement, and why is that? Because raw meat contains about 70% water. So all that water goes into the body, and that's a big part of that chunk of meat they eat. So what comes out is, of course, going to be much smaller. You will see the fur is becoming nicer and thicker and silkier. The teeth eventually start becoming whiter. The tartar is not growing anymore. It might need it to cleaning. If I've been on kibble for some years, but after that you probably never have to clean the teeth. So there are many benefits to raw that you wouldn't know much about in the beginning, but you will observe during this period of feeding raw that would sort of kind of make you realize you're on the right path. And it's all about that. You're taking the fear away, knowing that you are actually now doing something that your dog is benefiting from. And the allergies and those things are going to go away too. I guarantee it. It happens every single time. Because when you feed an animal, any species, the food they're designed for, the immune system will react. So you boost that, and by boosting and get a healthy immune system, the immune system will take care of any health issues and restore the body back to health. So food is actually the best medicine. Oh, I went rambling on with all that, but I hope it's helpful.